Hello, Squad Fam, and welcome to another Sinister Sunday. Today we're going to go to a castle. As you see, it's like a castle trail, and it's called the Belhurst Castle, and it's in upstate New York, the Finger Lakes region. Yes, we're going upstate again. It's a haunty kind of place up there. Oh, I don't know. All of New York is haunted. It has a lot of people. So, yeah, let's get right to it. All right, Squad Fam, let's get straight to the haunting. The Belhurst has a colorful past of love affairs, embezzling funds, and even deaths. Locals have called the three buildings on the property the haunted houses. Throughout history, the buildings changed hands many times, some turning old and dilapidated, with their broken windows and strange towers sparking stories of underground passages and hidden treasures. But they are truly haunted? One such house, the Heritage, saw its owner die of blood poisoning after falling and breaking his leg. Another crumbling house was torn down in the spring of 1888 in preparation for the Belhurst Castle. Over the 4 years that it took to construct the four-story mansion, one man fell from the tower and died, and another man went insane while assembling the roof. So already you got some craziness going on in this place. But Belhurst's most well-known ghost is Isabella, whom Belhurst Spas and Saloon is named after. The beautiful opera singer often seen dressed in white. According to the locals, Isabella fled with her forbidden lover, Spanish Don, to America, where they built a house with a secret tunnel. When the authorities came looking for them, they tried to escape through the underground passage to await their boat, only for the tunnel to have collapsed on Isabella. To this day, the White Lady is said to walk the shores of Seneca Lake, grieving her lost lover. She has been standing at night in the middle of the front lawn or as an apparition flying through the windows. Okay. Staff have witnessed many haunted activities, from showers turning on and off in the guest rooms to bottles and glasses flying around the bar, even coming to see tablecloths tied to the chandeliers. Guests report hearing the sound of soft lullabies being sung in the middle of the night, or the sound of children playing and screaming in the room next to them, most commonly reported by pregnant women. Hmm. Others hear the sounds of furniture being moved above them, coming from the room that once housed the roulette wheel and gambling tables when Belhurst was a speakeasy and gambling casino. Who will you see when you spend the night? Will it be Isabella, or perhaps Dick O'Brien, the old caretaker that passed away in 1972? Guests will see him walking up the stairs or sitting in his favorite chair, checking into Belhurst Castle, and find out what you can find. So that's just on their website. So I guess it's like uh, a hotel or an inn or something. And I think it has trails too. So let's find out more about this. So basically, it is a 1880s castle with antique furnishings, free wine. There's like a winery on it. It has a restaurant and a spa. It's a hotel. So really fun. I think there's trails there. Okay, so the New York Finger Lakes span approximately 9,000 square miles, covering nearly 6 million acres of rolling hills, still lakes, racing creeks, and historic villages. There are many ways to explore. However, the preferred method of exploration for guests here at the Belhurst Castle is good old-fashioned hiking. Okay, so you could hike near the castle. There's no secret that the Finger Lakes hiking scene is dotted with jaw-dropping waterfalls, but don't overlook the region's dense forestry, curious wildlife, and long-forgotten railways. Beautiful is in the eye of the beholder, after all. So, yeah, so you can stay there and you can go to the trails, and they have a whole bunch of stuff there. After all, there's too much beauty, sophistication, and elegance to ignore. Nested along the western banks of the Seneca Lake, Belhurst Castle not only boasts marvelous architecture and an abundance of historical significance, but the state features many glamorous amenities such as a gourmet cuisine, award-winning winery, and a spa. Yeah, so the place is beautiful, obviously. We'll put in some pictures. Um, you could do all sorts of things there, so definitely worth the trip. But let's see if we can find some more history on the place. Okay, so the property that surrounds the Belhurst Castle was originally the site of the Seneca Indian village and home to the Council of Six Nations of Iroquois. In the early 18th century, the land became part of the state of Massachusetts and was purchased by two 18th century land developers in the spring of 1738. The land was again sold to a group of businessmen in 1810. These men built and operated Ontario Glass Manufacturing Company, the first glass company west of Albany. In May of 1824, the land was divided among the stockholders of the Ontario Glass Manufacturing Company, and William DeLong received the largest and most desirable portion of land, which is the area that is now home to the Belhurst Castle. So, big history. Okay, we had Indians, we had a lot of people own it, we had a company on it. So yeah, so a lot of history. Um, Mr. DeLong quickly sold the parcel of land to Joseph Fellows, a lawyer who was a native of England, and he built the first modern residence on the land called the Hermitage, but never resided in the home. He did have a friend, William Henry Burke, lived there under the deed of trust. He lived in the Hermitage alone except for one servant. In the spring of 1836, Hall fell over an obstruction and broke his leg. Hall did not seek medical treatment and died of blood poisoning a short time later. Upon his death, it was learned that William Henry Burke had been treasurer of a famed Covent Garden theatre in London. He had embezzled theatre funds, married his stepmother, fled to the United States, and assumed the name Henry Hall in an effort to avoid capture. Okay, so he was the embezzler. He died there. Like, yeah, crazy. From the time of Hall's death until 1852, the property changed hands twice and was then purchased by Harrison G. Otis on November 10, 1852. It was Otis that named the property Belhurst, meaning beautiful forest. Over the years, the property changed hands within the Otis family, and on February 28, 1877, Mary Otis sold the strip of land along the lake of the Syracuse, Geneva, and Corning Railroad Company. Ms. Otis made the railroad company agree to maintain and preserve a right-of-way across the track so that she could have access to the lake. The railroad company is still obligated to comply with the agreement made with Mary Otis more than 130 years ago. Interesting. In 1878, the property, along with the land that is now Glenwood Cemetery, was taken over by the United States Trust Company, and the Otis family relocated to Virginia. The property remained vacant for 7 years. During this time, it was known as Otis Grove, a popular picnic area for the residents. The Hermitage was still located on the property, and it was rumored that the house was haunted. Many believers there was an escape tunnel that was built by Burke Hall as a means to escape the authorities if they found him. On May 13th, 1855, Miss Carrie M. Young, wife of Samuel V. Harron of New York City, came to Geneva, inspected Otis Grove, asked the price, and purchased the property that very day. After purchasing Belhurst, Miss Harron moved to Geneva, accompanied by her manager, Captain Louis Del Collins, a native of Rose, New York, while her husband remained in New York City. Shortly after arriving in Geneva, Miss Harron divorced her husband on June 6, 1888, married Captain Collins. In the spring of '88, Miss Collins had the dilapidated house that the Otis family lived in torn down in preparation for the 4-story mansion she was building. 50 men worked for 4 years on the construction of Belhurst Castle. During the time, one man was killed when he fell from the tower, and another went insane putting on the roof. All the materials used to build and furnish the castle were imported from Geneva. Many items came from Europe during the time of construction, 1885 through 1889. There was a lot of talk among the locals about what Miss Collins was building on the property. A woman of her means made quite an impression on the people. Yeah, well, it was brick on the outside and plaster on the inside, heated by a steam boiler, and had wire partitions to separate the many breeds of fowl. Miss Collins' prized possession was a pair of Japanese golden pheasant birds that can be seen on the china in the restaurant today. Its boathouse was built to hold 20-passenger gasoline-propelled steam yachts. Unfortunately, the boathouse was consumed by a fire several years later. The fire took 4 days to burn completely. Upon Miss Collins' death in Savannah, Georgia, on April 5, 1926, Belhurst Castle was passed to her grandson. He lived in the house for a short time, but later leased and sold it to Cornelius Dwyer, a colorful and engaging man with a wide circle of friends throughout the country. Dwyer, known as Red, purchased Belhurst in 1932 and on April 18, 1933, opened it as a speakeasy and gambling casino. Belhurst became an outstanding showcase restaurant and casino under Red's direction. Gambling was conducted upstairs, and liquor was run down from Canada during Prohibition using the canal system. In 1952, I guess they decided that they didn't want a casino there anymore, so they succeeded in convincing Red to stop or be stopped, and the gambling days at Belhurst Castle were over. Red continued to operate Belhurst as a restaurant until 1975, when the property was purchased by Robert and Nancy Golden. The Goldens continued to run Belhurst as a restaurant while residing upstairs. Eventually, they converted the second and third floors and one outbuilding into 12 guest rooms and opened the premises as a hotel. On November 2nd, 1992, Mr. and Mrs. Dwayne and Debe Reeder became the present proprietors of Belhurst Castle. A second outbuilding and a ranch house was built in the 1950s by Red Dwyer, those were converted to guest rooms. Under the direction of Reeds, Belhurst became a highly acclaimed restaurant and hotel with the gorgeous Castle Ballroom as a popular venue for weddings and special events. In the fall of 2003, the Reeds began an expansion on the Belhurst property. Construction of the 3,000 square foot facility adjoining the 1880s Belhurst Castle was completed and helped Belhurst become the premier attraction in the Finger Lakes it is today. So there you have it. Lots of history. Yeah. Wow. So, yeah. I mean, it's gorgeous. Wait till you see it. So, if you guys want to go there, I wouldn't work on the roof if you're a roofer. Because you'll either go insane or fall and die. I don't know what's going on with the roof, but yeah. Super interesting place. So we did say the Belhurst Castle is on one of the shores of Seneca Lake. Now, Seneca Lake itself has a lot of stuff going on. So there's a place called Miles Wine Cellar. If you're looking for paranormal activity, that's the place to be. There have been numerous ghost experiences and strange occurrences at this Greek rival home that overlooks Seneca Lake. Miles Wine Cellar's owners, Doug Miles and Susie Hayes, have accepted their ghostly inhabitants and learned to live with them, even naming wine after them ghosts. Okay, you may not get much activity from a bottle of white wine, but you can stay a couple of nights and perhaps you will experience things being flung off you like your comforter and doors slamming behind you. Miles now has an inn where you can book a room overlooking the lake. I doubt I will be staying there anytime soon. So a lot of places on the lake is haunted. So not only this castle, just a few places. There's another place too called Esperanza Mansion. It's beautiful view, delicious food, but no one really knows exactly what she is. There is a lady that's dressed in white and can be seen around the mansion. It's unclear who she is. Built in 1838, Esperanza is thought to have once been part of the Underground Railroad. Okay. At the Esperanza Mansion, I was woken up by the TV that somehow turned on in the middle of the night. I proceeded to turn it off. However, this repeated one more time. In the morning, I'm sure I heard a young teen boy's voice laugh. Okay. I did not see a ghost, though. There was nuts falling from a tree in the front yard, making a super creepy sound. The whole place was creepy. So there's whispers that could be heard from the artwork. Things move, fixtures fall. Interesting. And then there's another place called the Naples Hotel, which is also right up there. So they're all like in the lake area. So super haunted properties over there. And definitely maybe a place to stay if you're coming to New York. So that was a whole interesting place, and maybe one day we'll go there. Who knows? Thank you for joining us for another Sinister Sunday. Leave me a comment, and if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We'd love to have you join us, and we'll see you guys on the next adventure.